Libra. Gemini season reading. June 2024 reading. All information to work with me one-on-one is below, as well as the extended version of this reading, which I believe are well worth it. You can also find them, most of them, for free by the end of the month, and you can take a look back at them if you want to see how we go through the cards and how detailed it is. And we'll switch it up in the future once, you know, things start to go, because I like to switch things up here and there. We're going to talk a little bit about how we, AI and how that relates to us a little, as Libras as the only inanimate object. It's the only scale, as the only sign that can do so much and receive so little sometimes, and vice versa, right? Could be both. What happens in this month, in this time of what I feel like this is a clearing, and then we're going to go into the cleansing of next month. And they're both very similar, but clearing has to do with air and cleansing has to do more with water. And they're both, but when we talk about clearing, we'll usually that means lighting smoke, letting the air shift. Cleansing usually has to do with the body. Think about if you've ever done a cleanse, catch my drift. So for you, into this month, you may be wondering a few things. Sorry about that. You may be wondering a few things, especially about your money, your relationship to money, your relationship to how you give and receive, how much you give, what you recognize that you receive, how comparing that to others and how that can be really important, especially at your job at this time, or even in relationship, what you give there and what you're receiving there. Why do I bring that up? Well, I've been learning a lot more and even more in depth about codependency in relationships and relational health. And some say, and some schools of thought say, that your connection to yourself, your connection to yourself, your health with yourself, is directly correlated with your health of relationships with other people. And I will have to say that the more healthier my relationships have gotten throughout the course of my life, which they have been really bad, and you could find out more in my podcast. Not bad, but very, I grew up very differently, very codependent, I should say. It's not bad to be codependent. It's just a term that helped me learn what was actually going on within my dynamics with myself and other people. And I think it's really important to explore that if you haven't. I've been talking about it here and there and peppering it throughout different readings. I've definitely talked about it with you before, but this goes, into that extent of, then we go to the comparing and how people can see Libras as those people who compare certain people, but we compare relationally a lot. And I've gotten a lot of different, I would say, feedback or judgment in relationships for the amount of comparing that I do. But I learned recently too that there's another person's school of thought that says that the only way you can really learn about yourself is through other people and through your relationship with those people. Not the only way, but that, well, maybe he said that, but I don't know specifically. I'll have to look into it more. But ultimately, this is the year of that, right? We're going through so much of the Aries Libra axis, and now we're in a air sign which is not who, but whom. I mean, there's two of them, but which is a big, huge, vast look at your relationship with money, your connection with money, your relationship with communication, your connection to your communication. And you may be wondering, well, what do you mean? Because some people just respond, and you could be a Libra that in the moment just responds. You could also be a Libra who doesn't at all, or in anywhere in between. So those are the extremes. And because you're an air sign, right? Words, communication are very effective. We'll talk more about how that links up with the body next month. I should write that down though, so I remember to talk to you about it. But this season's giving you an opportunity, a huge one, to see because there's something about more money, more worth, more all of that energy floating around you. Everything is getting closer, and you're recognizing your relationship with it all even more. It's becoming just very clear to you that you might have to address even deeper what's been clouding that. Because with this clearing, we have the Six of Pentacles, now we have the Six of Cups, and the Queen of Wands. This is all about you taking your power back. We talked about this a lot, but this is about taking your power back in ways in which that you, where you have maybe struggled, or where you've maybe given too much or received too little, and you get kind of, it's the facade of it all, right? It presents in a certain way, and it feels like you're supposed to, at times it felt great, right? At times it felt like, oh, I'm being acknowledged, I'm being appreciated, this is amazing, this is beautiful. If this is in your work life, you know, we're gonna get very Venusian here. But if this is in your work life, it's most likely showing you somewhere in your romantic life. They could be opposites, like one's better, like one's more positive, one's more negative. It could be one's more healthy or one's not. That could also be the balance that you see. But you could also see that they're actually mirroring each other in that way. So like the opposite is even the mirror, but maybe that they're the same. So I'm going to go through both. But first, this is, I want to do Pentacles. I want to do more work. You may find that you're taking your power back, right? When these options show up for you, you can decide, and you're now seeing that you have that decision, and that decision, right? To realize like, oh, when certain things are presented to me, when opportunities are presented to me, it may be under the guise of this energy that I've been putting out and receiving for a while now. It may be under that umbrella. And I don't know that I want that to continue to happen. And that is the way forward. That even if the situation or this person seems to be great, you know, maybe seem to be overgiving, for a lot of you, I think you're looking for, and a lot of you, this is a Libra thing, I'm going to explain the detriment to the most expansive, like what's the most negative to what's the most positive, because I make decisions in black and white, but nothing's good nor bad. It's negative and positive, which is black and white, which is the yin and yang, which, you know, next month we'll get even deeper into every Cancer season. So what you may notice with this, right, is that there's also generosity. Like on one end it's generous, and on the other end it's giving too much of yourself. You're giving all of yourself. You're neglecting your own needs. You're only receiving crumbs. That's all you've been maybe taught to receive or and get. Oh, and here you are. And now you see that this is you coming back to yourself this month. This month is empowering you to come back to yourself. Of course, you'll have to check your ego. No problem with that. But you'll notice that for some of you, this opportunity binds you into something that will cause you to be more, for lack of a better term, submissive, which is always always has the power anyway. But to be and to have, or a power dynamic, I should say, that this has been like a romanticized power dynamic that you've created even outside of yourself, and you may find that like layer upon layered view of it all. And so what taking your power looks like is by maybe saying no to these opportunities, no to this person, no to the situation where it's asking you, even though they're asking you in a way that seems to be like, you would love to do more for me, like you would love this, you would love that. They're not saying would you love to do more for me, but they're saying in a way that sounds like it's like, you want this, like trust me, you totally want this. Or like it's a persuasive, right? It's manipulative. And I think you're recognizing that once you decide, which is, I don't know if I mentioned, I want to talk a little bit about AI. I'm sorry, I had to redo this a couple times due to hair nose itch, all these different things, not because of anything else. But this is the best read yet. So in terms of the way I can communicate to you. So you're looking at the future, right? You realize what your past is now. You realize that you get a chance to clear out this and see it monetarily. You may still be in it, but the opportunities will present themselves to you to move on, to move forward from these places, or else we wouldn't be talking about this, right? And you find this way back to yourself, this way back to that empowering, balanced, neutral side of yourself. This could be the opportunity that you never saw coming, right? Because you've decided to, even though it seemed really good or it seems like amazing, it's almost all the way there, but you know, you're realizing that through time, like you can and you deserve now more than ever to completely reshape your life, to really shape shift it. And maybe you don't even realize you're doing that. Maybe you're just taking action and life is just unfolding in front of you if you're that kind of Libra. But I know a lot of you may be in, like, there's no swords out this month yet, but a lot of you are going through this process of understanding that what makes you you is this re-entered focus on yourself more, on your needs, on your desires, on how to communicate and act upon it. Because here's the thing, if you're so sure, then your first response should be enough for the other person to accept. And in some areas you see how clear that is, and in other areas you don't, because, and this is a big one, in the past, at some point, perhaps, maybe even the most recent past, and I'm sorry if that's triggering at all, yet this is what we're here to, do. So welcome. It's a safe space. And we'll talk about safe spaces too. We'll talk about that. We're gonna talk about that with Taurus too. Hey. That you're re-entering a safe space with yourself, because in the past it's possible that you have said one thing and then with another question, with another and asked another way, you end up just saying yes, right? This could appear in your job, this can appear at home, it might be appearing everywhere where you're just not taken seriously, but it's because you're not taking your opinion seriously. You're not taking your answer serious enough. And if you get flack from that, let me tell you something. I have dealt with this so many times. If you get flack from that or feedback from that because you need to take care of yourself and you need to do what's best for you in that moment, and you're getting, a response that you may not, that you may not love from someone else, or what you may not have been expecting from someone else, just take note of it. I wouldn't completely write it off, but just take note, because those are people who expect you to be a certain way forever. And Libra's like, I'm changing now. Like, I've been, but like now you can see it. Like now I can feel it. And now it's just like you, right? Some other people may be surprised by you. They may have been taken aback by you in the past, but now you are able to really have a space now, a safe space for yourself. The safe space that you've been for other people, you get to be for yourself now. Because how many Libras raise your hand, whether you're healthy or unhealthy or whatever, people just feel fucking safe to say, feel whatever around you. And for you, for some of you Libras, you have been that way, and it's time to take a look at that as well. Because people are listening, you're listening, things are, a lot's being, so Gemini season is like, woo, everything's dumping out, and then towards the end of the month things start to filter because so much is in Gemini. And what you're seeing here is that you're seeing things now, and you're hearing things, and you're becoming things, and you're speaking in a way in which you value yourself. You're also going to be given opportunities then reflect you, in which that you value yourself. You value what you say, what you've discovered. How do you know? You don't get into those compromising conversations or situations where people expect more of you, and at the end of it, even though through it felt good and exciting, but all of a sudden at the end of it you feel drained and depleted. It's all about taking your power back. The Queen of Wands is saying, stay in your body, Libra. Stay in your body. Create. Eight of Pentacles came out. Create. anytime you want to remember yourself, anytime you need to remind yourself who you are, you don't have to start a project. You don't have to make something into monetary or do something for someone else. Do it for you. Create for you. Do something for yourself. It could be anything. I'm not just saying like, of course, I'm always saying you're a Libra. Do any art. Do all the art. I don't care what it looks like. I won't see it anyway, unless you want to show me, because I love to see it if you want to show me, because I do love it. I do love art. I write, I paint, I draw, I'm good. I mean, art is relative, but it is pleasing, right? It's okay to be, it's not okay for other people to have access to the skills or to your things that you find vulnerable if you don't actually want to allow it, but it's because you feel like you can help someone, or you feel like you may not want to see someone else in pain. Because you don't like feeling in pain, you don't like seeing yourself in pain, but you've given so much of yourself because of that indirectly you are paining yourself, and you have pained yourself. And if that does, I'm also giving you realizations that I have found out about us, because it's really important. That's this Four of Swords. It's like so much. Towards the end of Gemini season, I would say in about a week or so, week and a half, you'll start to receive all of this clarity from some mental blocks that you've had, because it's been enraptured in your body. And now that you're expressing through your body, right, which is your art that's expressing you through your body. It doesn't matter if it's coming out of your hands or your mouth, if you're dancing or it doesn't matter. It's all coming out of you and who you are. And this is a big month of taking back your power, looking at the opportunities, finding the fortune, or not even just finding it, divinely walking into it, because that's just what you do, right? This is building even more confidence. Another 6 out. So we got 3 6s out. This is building the path. This is confidence, building the confidence. This is finding the confidence within yourself, feeling the confidence within yourself, moving forward regardless if there's anyone else that is invested, letting go of that. I need this or that. I need these kinds of relationships. I can't let this go. But then you're doing all of this for other people, and you realize that you can't contract yourself if you can't, like, contracting yourself in that way. Like when you say something and you don't expect someone else to respond in the way that they do, because it's more selfish. A lot of times you may not realize that subconsciously they don't want what's best for you. It's okay if they joke and you're friends, but you just have to notice that. And then notice if they stay in your life when you move on. Because in the past that may have brought you back into situations, whether it was romantic or monetarily, that you'll be pulled back just by one simple sentence, but the action is missing completely, or the whatever's linking you together is just totally and completely missing. But you stay based off one sentence that they don't fully mean, but you feel. Is it because you want to feel needed? What is that? That's something you definitely will have to explore in the coming year. That's not something I just want to bring up and shut down, because it's about you needing to move on from those things too. Realizing that it's okay that you have to see these things about people, because you'd rather see this and know what you're dealing with than not, because then you move on to situations and you can be presented situations that are more at your level, more in your view, that these are situations that come from this part of you. But now you're finding it to be different. Now you're seeing the energy shift because you're serious, because you're, for lack of a better word, dead serious, because you're changing. So there is a death there. Because what's happening doesn't feel pleasant. Because you now see the way people sometimes treat you or act with you, or the way life has been. You see it as an act for them to get them what they want. And in turn, it gave you what you wanted at the time, or have wanted. And maybe it's been validation, maybe it's been money, whatever your Achilles heel is, maybe it's been love, whatever your pain point is, right? That's what the eclipse brought up, and now we hear it resurfacing here. This is this huge breakthrough on something that you may have been thinking about, feeling about for a very long time. Anywhere from 5 years to 5 months. Doesn't matter. It's been involved in your life, regardless if it's been heavily thought about, because there's some underlying pattern here. And this month is coming in to say, let's use whatever emotions you have and move on with it. Let's see what else is possible. Let's move. It's not about making any crazy rash decisions either. That's not what it's about. But it's giving you the power. It's giving you the strength. And you may also notice that is, that is a part of the clearing. This is clearing the mind. Your mind's moving faster. Things are moving faster. You're also going to be seen a lot. You'll be seen a lot this month. And always happens. You'll be seen a lot this month. You're clearing the way for yourself to create and alchemize and maybe have a situation, a change in your life. You're really on the brink of this change of, I am doing what I'm saying now. What that means for me now. I'm doing that, I'm saying that, I'm feeling that, and now I'm creating from that place. And now I can feel confident about this decision that I'm making. Now I can reconcile the past in some way, because I'm seeing it alchemize right before me. Right? I'm seeing myself alchemize, which my whole life is alchemizing as well. Regardless of what you've been through. That it can be possible. That it is possible. That you feel that it's possible. Even if it's a glimpse, you may find that emotion on the up and up, finally, you want to experience more of that, or that's what your desire is, and that's what you find yourself coming into, that clearing out, detoxing, cleansing, where the mind, you find yourself so confident, and then all of a sudden you're like, what did I do? And then you're like, wait, no, this is the clearing of what happens when I finally decide to do or move forward or see this pattern or see this thing through. Not just saying it, not just having the realizations, but doing it regardless of what happens next. Then you find what happens next. Whatever comes up internally is yours to process, and you decide. You have all the confidence this month. Gemini season is filling you with that good fucking air shit. We love it. And it's also maybe clearing out your lungs. So notice that as well. Notice your capacity and your expansion in your body, and in your ability to talk in this windpipe as well. Because the Queen of Swords, the Knight of Swords is solidified by the Queen of Swords. It's enough. Whatever's been going on, it's enough. You have come to the point where it's like, this is enough. If you need to move on from something, you're just like, all right, I've done enough. For some of you, it's like, yo, fuck this shit, I've done enough. There's a mixture, as you know, we're in a dual sign, we are a dual sign, and we're in this in all these different ways. So that's why you find in the beginning of the month, you may be still that person, that part of you is still always going to be somewhat a part of you. It just is going to look differently, and we're going to continue to talk about this. So this isn't something that we leave off on, but we have to start with the first part. And what's coming up now is that you see that part of yourself, you get an opportunity to remain there, right? By saying yes, perhaps. But by saying no is you recognizing that opportunity to not go there and realizing that there's other opportunities, that there are 2 cups right behind you. And now they're in their hands. Like, come on. You're realizing that from what you felt, from what you've been through, from what you've experienced, this is alchemizing through art. And maybe right now it's just for you, and maybe Libra, it's something that can help a lot of people. Maybe it's emotionally, spiritually, mentally. The Temperance card is this all-encompassing sign, angelic sign, that whatever you're feeling after these boundaries have been put up, if you have never felt that way, or if you do feel that way, you may find a release in your hips. You may find that you're also, your energy levels are stabilizing as well during this time. Bottom of the deck. Come on. No. Come on. That it's making you see what's like really real and what's a distraction, and what distractions actually lead to like toxic, sometimes borderline abusive relationships with yourself and others. We're going to talk about too how people mistake kindness for weakness, how your niceness, or being nice, and your ability to choose anger, or to choose to emote in a feeling in a way that looks like the feeling, right? Because we all love to like not do that. That regulation, and why it's disruptive to the space you're in now, and why it's perfect for the space you'll be entering, right? It's all for you realizing that you don't have to fit in where you are now, that you're not meant to fit in where you are now, whether it's in a community or group of people. There's something changing and shifting about that. The dynamic with yourself, feeling more fortunate, feeling in your body, seeing the future as something not so hard, not so sad, because there are other schools of thought. They say out there is like, if you can't experience all, and I do feel this wholeheartedly. I found this also within myself. And then I find it out there along in the way. I recognize that the more I felt through my pain and really did in certain areas, even when I get so annoyed or triggered or whatever it is, when they come back up, when you feel like, oh, I did a lot of work there. Like, no, like there's always, like, we're human. Like, there's just so much happening all the time. And Gemini season is the obvious view of that. And weirdly enough, this season is very grounding for you because of the way you enter it. Because of how you're entering, you're in your body, because you realize you need to be extremely aware right now, not to your detriment. If you find yourself in your head too much, find mantras and talk to yourself, talk to your body, communicate with your body, and notice that whatever that resistance is maybe that a resistance to the emotion, maybe that happy joy emotion that you're allowed to feel and experience. And you're wanting something bad or drama. No, find the space this month. Find it. Even if you're out with people, like, this is the perfect month to be like everywhere and nowhere. Like, if you want to hop here for a few, you want to hop here for a few, and then you come home, you have this like eventful night, you're just there for a little while, you catch these moments, you don't need to linger too long. You just feel like, okay, I know how to navigate through this right now. I'm listening to myself. This is what I need to do for me. This is how I want to experience life right now. And for a lot of you, it's like you want to do that because you need days and times and pockets or if you find that it's going to light you up or bring you energy, if it's not bringing you energy anymore, leave that space. Say no. This is the perfect time to maneuver your boundaries, get people used to a different version of yourself in the ways of, especially the way you communicate with your mind, your words, and your body, and your actions. You may also find that this brings a perfect collaboration in your life as well. You may also have to be very clear and mean what you say with the people that come next. Like, you'll still have to, like, it's not like it's done. It's like, okay, now you need to continue to strengthen this muscle. Right? Now you may even feel like you released in your hips. You know, you may find you need to stretch or strengthen these parts of yourself a little bit more this month. I'm really excited to get into the next part. You can tell because I don't want to stop. But we will, because we'll have to get into it a little bit more. I'm more excited for this season for you, Libra. It's okay if people, like, love you and want to give you attention in any way, shape, or form, and you don't owe them anything. Okay? See you in the next part. Links below.